The heartbreaking truth. Behind the Jester's mask, will he find his true self before it's too late? What happens when your dreams turn into a nightmare? In a world where every smile is fake, how do you find the courage to be yourself again? In the colorful and lively world of the amazing digital circus, Gangle was known for making everyone laugh. His silly tricks and wild dance moves made him the star of the show, and the audience loved him. But behind his happy face, Gangle felt very lonely. After each show, while everyone cheered, Gangle felt sad and empty. He worried that nobody saw the real him, the one who was not just a funny clown. One night, after a great performance, Gangle found a quiet, forgotten corner of the circus. Here, everything was dull and quiet. He saw a dusty mirror hidden behind some boxes. Curious, he wiped off the dust and looked at his reflection. To his surprise, he didn't just see the silly clown, but also a young boy with dreams he had forgotten long ago. Memories of playing with friends filled his mind, but those happy times seemed far away now, buried under the pressure of making everyone laugh. Suddenly the tent shook, and a deep voice echoed around him. "Do you want to find your dreams again?" it said. Gangle turned around to see the ringmaster, the mysterious leader of the circus. "What do you want?" Gangle asked, feeling scared. "I offer you a choice," the ringmaster replied, stepping closer. "You can keep this life of applause and fame, or you can search for the truth inside your dreams. But be careful, the truth can be heavy." Gangle's heart raced. The thought of chasing his forgotten dreams filled him with hope, but also fear. Could he really leave behind the laughter that had become his whole life? Could he face the unknown? In that moment, Gangle made his choice. "I want to find my true self," he said, feeling brave. The ringmaster smiled in a way that made Gangle uneasy. "Very well, but remember, once you start down the path of truth, there's no going back." With a wave of his hand, the ringmaster filled the air with bright, sparkling light. When the light faded, Gangle found himself in a strange and magical place. The ground was soft and colorful, and the sky was filled with swirling clouds. Here, he could hear the echoes of laughter from his childhood, drawing him deeper into this world of lost dreams. As he walked through this beautiful place, Gangle saw familiar faces from his past, friends he had lost over time. They were laughing and playing, free from the pressures of the circus. But when Gangle approached them, their laughter faded, and they looked at him sadly. "Why did you leave us, Gangle?" one friend asked, disappointment in her voice. "You chose the circus over us." Gangle's heart sank. "I didn't mean to," he said, tears in his eyes. "I thought I was making everyone happy." "But at what cost?" another friend replied. "You traded your dreams for applause. You forgot what really matters." Gangle felt overwhelmed by their words. "I never wanted to lose you," he cried, the pain of regret filling his heart. "I just wanted to be loved." Suddenly, the scene changed, and Gangle found himself back in the circus tent, performing for a loud audience. But this time, their cheers felt empty. The ringmaster watched from the shadows, his eyes shining with satisfaction. "Do you see now?" he taunted. "This is the life you chose. This is your truth." Gangle felt a wave of anger and sadness. "No, this isn't my truth. I want to find my dreams again." In that moment of desperation, Gangle took a deep breath and ran toward the ringmaster. "You may have trapped me in this world, but you cannot control my heart," he shouted. The ringmaster laughed, but Gangle pushed forward. "I choose to remember who I am. I choose my friends, my dreams, and my happiness." As he spoke those words, a bright light surrounded him once again, lifting him off the ground. The audience faded away, and the tent disappeared, replaced by the colorful world of dreams. Gangle felt free, as if he could escape the heavy weight of his past choices. When the light dimmed, Gangle stood among his childhood friends, who welcomed him with joy. They hugged him tightly, and in that moment, he felt the warmth of love fill his heart. "I'm so sorry for leaving you," he said, his voice shaking. "I forgot what really mattered." "We never stopped believing in you," one friend said, smiling through tears. "You're more than just a clown, Gangle. You're a dreamer." With a new sense of purpose, Gangle closed his eyes and imagined the life he had always wanted. He pictured a world where laughter was real, where he could share joy without losing himself. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself back in the circus, but everything felt different. The audience still cheered, but now Gangle felt connected to them. He began to perform, not just as a clown, but as a storyteller, sharing his dreams and the lessons he had learned. As he danced and moved, he could feel the spirit of his childhood friends surrounding him, their laughter blending with his. For the first time, Gangle felt whole, his heart full of joy, purpose, and the unbreakable bond of friendship. The forgotten room. One rainy afternoon, the circus performers were all gathered inside the big tent, avoiding the storm that had started glitching through the digital sky. Kane had no new challenges for them, so the group was left to their own devices. While Jax and Kinger played cards and Regatha repaired one of her broken props, Pomni couldn't help but notice a door she had never seen before. "That door... has it always been there?" she asked, pointing it out. The others glanced over. "Never seen it," Jax shrugged. "But then again, this place is always changing." Pomni, ever the curious one, walked toward it, despite Regatha's warning. "Careful, Pomni. We don't know where that leads." "I just want to see what's inside," Pomni replied, her hand reaching for the knob. With a creak, the door swung open, revealing a dimly lit room filled with strange, forgotten objects. Old circus props, dusty furniture, and cracked mirrors. The room seemed abandoned, as though it had been locked away for years. "Spooky," Jax commented, though he followed Pomni inside, intrigued. The moment they stepped into the room, the atmosphere changed, the lights flickered, and the door slammed shut behind them. Guys?" Gangle said nervously. "I don't like this." Pomni reached for the door, but it wouldn't budge. "We're trapped!" Suddenly, one of the mirrors lit up, showing a reflection of a circus tent. But it wasn't their tent. It looked older. Regatha stepped forward, mesmerized. "That's the original tent, the one before Kane took over." The mirror showed performers from a past generation of the circus, going through the same routines they had been doing for years. But something was wrong. The performers looked sad, drained, as if they were stuck performing against their will. "Are they trapped?" Pomni whispered, horrified. "It looks like it," Regatha replied, her voice shaky. "They're like us, but forgotten." The group began to explore the room, realizing it was a storage space for everything that had been lost or abandoned in the circus. Kinger found a chest filled with old costumes, while Jack stumbled upon a dusty music box that played an eerie off-key tune. As they searched, Pomni found a journal tucked away in a corner. It belonged to one of the original performers, and its final entry sent a chill down her spine. "We were once the stars, but now we are trapped in the forgotten room. Beware those who enter, for you may never leave." Just then, the mirrors flickered again, and the reflections of the past performers began to move, reaching out toward the group. "We need to get out of here," Gangle shouted, backing away from the mirrors. The door still wouldn't open, and panic began to set in. Regatha, thinking quickly, suggested they try to recreate a performance from the journal. "If we finish their last act, maybe the room will release us." Reluctantly, the group agreed. Jax played the music box, while Pomni and Regatha performed a clumsy, improvised version of the old routine described in the journal. The shadows in the mirrors watched them closely, their eyes filled with hope and sadness. As the performance reached its end, the room began to glow. The mirrors shattered, and the door unlocked with a loud click. The shadows of the forgotten performers faded away, their spirits finally freed. The group rushed out, slamming the door behind them. "Let's never go in there again," Jack said, shuddering. Kane appeared, seemingly unaware of what had happened. "Ah, I see you found the old prop room," he said cheerfully. "I wouldn't worry about it. It's just full of memories." Pomni, Ragatha, and the others exchanged uneasy glances. Some memories, it seemed, were better left forgotten. The Ferris wheel of fate. The digital circus had a new attraction, a massive Ferris wheel that reached far into the sky, its lights flickering in an eerie rhythm. Kane, as always, was thrilled to show off his new creation. "Step right up! Step right up! Today we ride the Ferris wheel of fate." Pomni was suspicious. "What does it do?" she asked, eyeing the enormous wheel with caution. Kane giggled, his eyes twinkling. "Oh, nothing too wild. It's just a regular ride. Until it isn't. Each time the wheel stops, the person in that cart gets a surprise. Could be good, could be not so good." Ragatha, always the optimist, jumped into the nearest cart. "Come on, it'll be fun," she said, waving the others over. Kinger nervously hovered nearby, muttering something about how rides weren't safe. Despite their reservations, Pomni, Zubul, and Kinger eventually climbed aboard the massive contraption. As the wheel creaked to life, they soared high above the circus grounds, the landscape sprawling below in all its chaotic glory. For a few moments, it was peaceful, until the wheel stopped with a loud clunk. The cart containing Ragatha started to glow. Kane appeared in the sky, as though watching over them like some twisted game master. "Ooh, what's behind door number 1? Suddenly, Ragatha's cart flipped upside down, but instead of falling, she floated in place, her arms flailing wildly. "What is happening?" "Anti-gravity mode," Kane cackled. The wheel started again, this time stopping at Zubul's cart. Zubul, always the unlucky one, was immediately surrounded by an ominous cloud of purple smoke. From the mist emerged a swarm of tiny, buzzing creatures. "Kane, what did you do?" "Oh, nothing much. Just a swarm of cute little digital bees," Kane said nonchalantly. Zubul frantically swatted at the bees, scowling. "You and your games." As the wheel continued to spin, it stopped on Pomni, who braced herself for something awful. But instead, a shower of confetti exploded in her cart, along with a gentle tune playing from nowhere. "Lucky you! You got the celebration cart!" Kane cheered. "Yeah, great," Pomni muttered, brushing confetti from her head. Finally, the wheel stopped at Kinger's cart. The king, already anxious, nearly jumped out when his cart began to rumble violently. Before anyone could say a word, his cart shot up into the air like a rocket, disappearing into the clouds. "Kinger, where are you going?" Pomni called after him. "I'll bring him back later." Kane waved them off. "He'll be fine. Probably." The Ferris wheel finally stopped. The ride over. But the circus residents were left shaken, and Kinger was still floating somewhere in the digital sky.